Hello everyone, Fix-It Scotty here, welcoming you to my front porch. This footage was captured by our brand new Ring Doorbell camera. My goal for this video is to give you a thorough guide to set up and use this product. Now in this video, I'll show you how to configure and install the unit and the software, and how to determine if it will work with your existing doorbell transformer or chime. And then if it doesn't work with your chime, finally I will cover how to configure the Ring digital chime. So stay tuned. Like many of you, I'm just replacing a traditional electric door chime with the Ring doorbell. So before we really get started in the install, let's talk about the tools and products that we'll need. I initially got a couple screwdrivers, a voltmeter to measure the transformer, see if it's good. I bought a new transformer in case my existing transformer wouldn't work. Of course, the Doorbell 3, which is the latest of the Ring units, and the chime just in case my existing chime wouldn't work. You might also need a drill as well. I know it seems obvious to most, but you do need a wireless router and internet access for this whole thing to work. Just to give you a high-level overview of the technology, the Ring Doorbell uses motion activation to record a series of short videos. Those videos are immediately uploaded using your home internet connection to the Ring cloud data servers. The app installed on your phone will talk to the Ring servers to get notifications when a new video was captured. The Ring data servers will store your video clips for up to 30 days, at which case you can watch or download them during that time frame. Before installation, the very first thing I did was unbox the doorbell unit, took the front cover plate off, and removed the lithium battery. The reason I did this first is because it needs to charge for several hours before we can use it. Just simply plug it into a mini USB charging cord like you would use for your Android phone. While we'll wait for our battery to charge, I went outside and took the two screws out of the door chime button and just inspect the wires. There's two wires going into that. Yours might have different colors, but that's not important because it's low voltage AC, so there's no polarity. I went ahead then and removed the wires off the screws and got my voltmeter out and set it to measure AC volts. If you're concerned about getting shocked and you don't have to touch the wires with your fingers like I did to hold them against the leads, but as you can see, I'm measuring about 18 volts AC, so I didn't really feel anything. For a little background on how door chimes work, this is the typical setup. You have a transformer that steps down 120 volts AC down to anywhere between 8 and 32 volts AC. That runs through a chime unit and into a doorbell. Now, as you can see, that doorbell is lit, so there's power running to that doorbell at all times. Once the doorbell button is pushed, the power is then removed from the doorbell, and then the chime knows to actuate the solenoid and make the noise. According to Ring documentation, the Doorbell 3 can operate on as low as 8 volts AC. The Pro models require 16 volts AC. Now, the reason it's important is because it uses this hardwiring at the doorbell to keep the battery charged. If you don't have the proper voltage coming out of your doorbell wiring, you'll have to charge the battery manually, which would be a huge pain. In case I needed to replace mine, I bought this unit from Home Depot, which would be a good replacement if you needed to replace your transformer. This one can put out the requisite current, and as you can see, the output is 16 volts AC, and this would work just fine for the Ring doorbell. If you want to investigate whether your transformer is good, but you don't know where it is in your house, here's a few common places you can look. The first is inside of your electric panel, right outside the electric panel, mounted to it potentially, possibly in the basement up by an electrical box, or maybe in your garage or utility room. Here you can see mine in my old basement wired to a pole chain light. I held up the new transformer just to see if the sizing was about the same, so I know my old transformer probably could handle the same power output. It looks like it's a good match. If you find yours, I would measure it right there at those two terminals where the wire is coming out, just to verify that the issue wasn't a wiring problem rather than a transformer problem. Well, now that the preliminary stuff is out of the way, let's move to installation here. So once the battery is fully charged, I'm going to take it off the charging cable, and then I'm going to go ahead and install it back into the doorbell unit, which will cause it to light up. Then I'm going to download and install the Android app onto my Android phone. I then created my new Ring user account and password and then started up the application. First, click to configure the doorbell device. Then we'll give the app permissions to our smartphone features. Then we're going to scan the barcode on the Ring product. This is located in a little user manual booklet that's inside the box. That barcode's quite small, so it was a little bit tricky. It took me a little while to get it to scan. I suggest placing it down on a flat surface, and once you get it to identify, it'll turn green. We'll give access to our phone location to the Ring app, and then we'll create our first location, which is basically just asking the address of where this Ring is installed. Once I enter my address, it'll say, get ready to get my Wi-Fi password. That's for my home network. But first it'll connect to the device itself. That device will be unique, and it'll tie it to my phone. Once it connects to my Ring doorbell, then it'll ask me to connect to my Wi-Fi, which I'll do now by entering my password in. Then it can tie the Wi-Fi, through my Wi-Fi internet connection, it'll tie all my information into my Ring account, and everything's good to go. There's a few remaining options here, but basically I just continue through it all, and for the most part I skip most anything. That could be done later. Since I know I'm going to be setting up the chime, or I'm pretty sure I'm going to be setting up the chime, I go ahead and I'll tell it I'm going to connect to the chime. But pretty much the next thing that happens is it'll start installing firmware on the device. This takes several minutes, so just set your phone down and let it update for a few minutes and go get some coffee. Okay, now that I've got the app set up, I'm going to go ahead and put it on live. And now the camera is just running. And now we can go outside and see how we want to orient this and determine, the angle, whether to use the bracket or the height and all that stuff. So let's go outside and try it out. Okay, so I have my doorbell going. I have the live feed going so I can see what's happening real time. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put it flat against the wall, right under where the wiring's going to be, and see what that looks like. Mounting it directly to the wall, I do get a straight out view of where, I guess, the driveway. So if I wanted something a little more pitched this way, the kit came with this piece of equipment right here. And the idea with this is you can mount this around your wiring. So if you wanted to pitch the camera more, well, maybe I'll... So in this direction, I'm pitching the camera more that way. It's angling it towards the wall. If I flip over the piece, I can angle it more to the left and get more of the driveway. Well, I think because of the situation with the wires here, them being so short, I think what I'm going to do is and because I don't have a cutout, this should have been cut out a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and use this so that I have a way to stand off the wires. But also, the kit came with some extension wires, so I'm going to go ahead and use these extension wires as well. Using the hardware in packet C, I used the long screws to mount the bracket to the house, which in my case is wood. You might have masonry that you have to drill into or use those plastic inserts. That's all up to you and your installation. I mounted the 2 wires to the back 2 screws on the unit, and then I mounted the unit to the backing plate using those 4 short wood screws. Then I just simply snapped on the cover plate. I found the bag with the security screws marked B. I took one of them out and I used the screwdriver that was provided in the box to screw it into the bottom, and that holds the battery in. Well, now that the doorbell's installed, I just kind of sat and waited for it to detect motion and to start recording videos to see how everything works. And I noticed that it was coming on quite often just for like cars and things on the street. So one of the things I went into the app, I went to the devices, and I clicked on my doorbell device, and I scrolled down to the settings. I believe it's the motion capture settings. Motion settings, and I clicked on that. And if you click on the motion sensitivity, you could turn that down, and I moved it down a few bars to the minimum settings, and that way not every time a car would come by it would turn on. That motion setting seemed to work well. You could see this is the nighttime version where a plow truck set it off, but other than that it's working good. And you can see this was captured during the next day when the mailman came, and that looks really good. So I'm pretty happy with the results. Next, let's talk about the door chime. When I click the button, the doorbell button on my new doorbell, my old chime does not ring. Therefore, it's not compatible with the Ring 3, and probably is not on this list even though I don't even know what brand it is because it's so old. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and install the digital chime that I purchased as an add-on. I started by simply unboxing it and plugging it right into the wall. Next, I went back on my smartphone to the Ring app, and I went to my doorbell device to the settings and clicked on linked chimes. Then I clicked on set up a chime, and then again it asked to scan the code on the product. So I retrieved a card from the box, the chime box, and I attempted to scan that tiny little barcode again. Took a couple tries, but I finally got it. Once it's scanned, it asked me to name it. It asked me a few questions. It asked me to connect it to the Wi-Fi. Once I entered my Wi-Fi credentials and password, I then clicked on the button that said that the light is flashing green. Then I clicked got it, and then I waited for the device to connect and complete the setup. Once the chime is installed and configured, you can set up some of the behavioral settings on it however you like. And then once you get through that, you may have to do another firmware update, which I had to do for a few minutes, and then it should be set up and ready to go. Let's give it a quick test. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more great content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.